Good morning. Thanks so much for tuning into the Trade Setup. I'm Neeraj Shah, and let's take stock of the situation, global news flow, and then the local points to focus on. It's a slightly long trade setup. Bear with me. First, Dow closed 400 points higher, snapped a 4-week win streak on rising rate fears. And by the way, I must say that that plus the fact that China has stuck to its COVID zero stance has led to the US futures coming off. But our markets are our markets. Oil closed at the highest level since August, again on the belief that China opening up trade will lead to commodities doing well, and all commodities did well. But I must again caution on that too, that because China has now come about and said that they're sticking to the strict COVID zero policy, there might be a slightly iffy move in metals. So bear that in mind. And because of these reasons, the Guangzhou region, for example, one of the reasons where it's just warned of COVID spread risks as cases have climbed out there. So it's a betting on what China is doing is turning out to be a bit of a pickle, really. Okay, what the US markets did, like I said, 400 points higher. So the Dow did really well, about 1.25% higher. Get the other statistics up on the screen as well, just to show you what happened to the dollar index or the CBOE VIX, which is steady, or the 10-year yield, which is steady as well. So no big changes out there. Bear that in mind. And the SGX Nifty, I put it out in the morning that the 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 Qs plate that we put out at BQ Prime, the SGX Nifty then too showed a level of about 0.5% or higher. So we'll likely start off about 18,300 or thereabouts is what the SGX Nifty is indicating. Now, what's the trade setup there for? Um, Last week was a mixed week, but the Nifty staying above 18,000, which was a notable outcome. Metal stocks closed above the September highs with rising RSI and MACD indicators. Now, because there are two conflicting things out here. One, there's a conversation happening about how the government may review the export duties on metals, and if those kind of go away, then it's a big positive for metal names. China opening up is a big positive, but like I said, while Friday that was all the conversation that was there around China and therefore the positive for commodities, it's taken a bit of a step back. So I'm not quite sure whether this can continue or no, but watch out for metals. Um, I think I think this week it's a very heavy earnings week, of course. Keep that in mind. But it's peppered or littered with PSU defense names coming out with the results, and therefore I think that space will be active. People some smart money went into PSU banks ahead of results. The stocks rallied, and then the results showed why it was pertinent to bet that way. Something similar could happen in defense because their order books are full. If they're executing well, which I presume they might be, uh, then you actually have uh, a case for very strong results coming in from PSU defense names, and therefore some of those could do well going ahead. So bear that in mind. That's a space to definitely watch out for and track. Like I said, results. It's a heavy results week. This today is amongst the larger ones, Coal India and Divi's Lab, as well as BPCL, you would argue. Alkyl Amines has been a strong stock. Interesting to see if it has a disappointment like quarter one, or can it do better. India Cements, with all that's happening in cement, could be interesting. And then Paytm and PB FinTech, very close to the lock-ins ending or probably already ended. And therefore, in some cases, individual lock-ins keep on ending for each of these names. And therefore, could be interesting to see what's the kind of pressures coming on these stocks. And with the organics again from the spec chem space would be interesting to see. What about stocks to watch? I'm starting off with a non-result stock as my stock of the day, and that is Birlasoft. Dharmender Kapoor has resigned as MD and CEO of the company. Company's effect appointed Angan Guha as CEO and MD effective December 1st, 2020. And I'm sure Mr. Guha is a reputed name. He knows his business, and therefore he'll hold Birlasoft in good hands, I would presume. But the fact that DK, as Dharmender Kapoor is known, was roped in with much fanfare. There's a lot of conversation about how he can transition Birlasoft from a small cap IT company to, or a mid-sized IT company to a proper large mid-cap IT company. And repeatedly, through all the rumors that were there last year about how the tenures might be short-lived, on our platform as well, Dharmender Kapoor has come out and said that no, all is kosher and nothing's happening. And sure, he would say that only. But now that this has happened, it may well lead to a bit of a slam dunk on Birlasoft today. It's an FNO stock, by the way, so keep that in mind. But I would, again, it may not happen to, but I would suspect that I would give a higher probability to the stock getting punished today as being the likely outcome. So watch out for Birlasoft. Then the results, blowout numbers from Titan really. Revenues up 22% at 9163 crores versus 8507 on that base, by the way. EBITDA up 29%. EBITDA margins 13.6 versus 13%, 60 basis points beat compared to estimated. And net profit up 30% at 831 versus 739 crores. Very hard pressed to find a fault in the numbers, really. Maybe in the commentary a little bit, but on the numbers, excellent performance. It's a very expensive stock, and therefore maybe some brokerages might have brought down the targets. But on Titan, I quite like what Gautam Dugar thinks, how long he's tracked the business, and therefore I'm bringing the Motilal also view here. They maintained a buy with a target price of 3210 per share. They're saying that the guidance on margin for subsequent quarters is relatively muted, which is a bit of a pickle. But the management has indicated a healthy 17 to 19% stock in the growth in the festive season demand across its key businesses in October. And I think that alone should augur well for quarter three as well for Titan. They have changed the model. As resulting in a 9 and an 8% rise in FY23-24 EPS estimates. Despite the margin commentary for quarter three, I suspect that Titan might have some wind beneath its sails today. Watch out for this one. Maric was okay. Revenues were up 3%, largely in line with estimates. EBITDA margin 17.3 versus 17.8. You would argue largely in line, and similarly your net profit largely in line. So no great shakes there. TVS Motors viewers, uh, I'm a bit perplexed, I'll honestly admit. So one, it's an expensive stock, yes. These are the numbers. Revenues up 32%, 8560. Bloomberg estimate 6365. EBITDA 47% higher, 1086. Bloomberg estimate 659. EBITDA margin 12.7. Bloomberg estimate 10.4. Net profit up 60% to 386. Uh, Bloomberg estimate 351. So you would argue on this, it is higher than estimated. All brokerages that I read said that they were a bit disappointed with the net profit performance. It was below their estimate. So maybe Bloomberg underestimated or otherwise. So that's why I'm saying that usually that poll is quite sufficient. But this time around, just the brokerage commentary is mixed, very patchy, with some people saying that it's kind of missed the estimates a little bit. So watch out for TVS. I, a part of me tells me that it will do well, but somewhere the brokerage notes seem to suggest that there's some chinks in the armor. So a bit undecided here. City Union Bank, NII up 19%, PAT up 52%, gross NPA is at 4.36 versus 4.65. So that's okay. And then come the big boys really in the reckoning. The two stocks of the day today, I would reckon, aside of Birlasoft, are and ones which will impact PSU banks. SBI, what a superb set of numbers. Now, due to time constraints, I'm just bringing out what brokerages are saying, and I chose the ICICI Securities view. You can choose um, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, what have you. Uh, all of those are fabulous numbers. Now, let me just tell you what ICICI Securities is saying, and then I'll tell you what the other brokerages are saying, right? So ICICI is saying that the Q2 beat, the buy, of course, target price revised to 805. The Q2 beat across operating metrics, crossing the 1% ROE and 17% ROE mark. That's strong, really. They expect the NIM trajectory to sustain with repricing of the lending book, despite the fact that there's a belief that the deposit rates moving up might hurt NIMs. Let's see if SBI is managing to do that. The equity raise to boost the CET may dilute the interim ROEs, but frankly, an equity raise happening would actually be positive for the stock. So do watch out for SBI. Now, picture this, viewers. Hear me out here. Morgan Stanley, overweight, target price raised to 715. Nomura, buy, target price raised to 690. Investec, buy, target price raised to 680. JP Morgan, overweight, target price raised to 720. Jefferies, buy, target price raised to 760. Goldman Sachs, buy, target price raised to 770. Everybody has raised target prices on SBI. And by the way, everybody's raised target price on BOB. Stick with me for a minute and then we'll go to what the results were as well. Morgan Stanley, buy, overweight, target price raised to 195. Nomura on BOB, buy, target price 170. JP Morgan on BOB, overweight, target price raised to 200. Investec on BOB, buy, target price raised to 200. SBI and BOB have 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 made it a remarkable Saturday for PSU banks. I suspect the rallies might well continue. Now, what BOB did was this: strong credit growth, 21% YOY, supported by continued traction in the retail and overseas book. The beat on PAT was led mainly by robust growth. Remember, at 3,310 crores, but the estimates of certain brokerages, for example, were at 2,370 crores. That's quite stunning, really. Sorry, there's a bit of a miss on the numbers here. Please excuse me for this. But the beat is certainly true, and a sharp 31 basis points QOQ jump in margins at 3.3%. But net BOB did well. Please excuse my gaffe there. But BOB is done very well, so bear that in mind. ZF Commercial Vehicle Control Systems, ZF Steering, or the erstwhile ZF Steering, the numbers. Revenues up 28%, 792 crores. EBITDA up 71% at 107 crores. EBITDA margin, look at that, 13.6 versus 10.2%. And PAT up 113% at 68 crores versus 32 crores. Superb set of numbers there, really. What didn't do well in terms of numbers was Godrej Agrovet. Revenues lower, EBITDA margin lower, PAT lower than estimated. On a good day, maybe this one could be the one that will not do well. The others that I haven't quite mentioned, Britannia, I thought the numbers were ho-hum, just about in line with estimates. Power Grid, actually, the net income beat estimates, and DCB I thought did well. But yeah, these are a few result names that I haven't quite brought out, but I think so maybe a Power Grid, maybe a DCB bank could react to it. Britannia, I don't think will have too much of a reaction, to be honest. The numbers were ho-hum. Some stocks and news, sugar companies would be in focus. India has sharply reduced the sugar export quota for 2022-23. Maybe this further adds to the slight bit of dampening of sentiment for the sugar names. And Reliance Industries, they are getting serious about their financial services foray. KV Kamath, none other than KV Kamath, has been appointed as the non-executive chairman of the financial services arm. The arm, called Reliance Strategic Investments, will be soon demerged and listed as Geo Financial Services. So do watch out for that as well. IDFC First Bank has an equity fundraise, so do watch out for that. There is also, I think, Mahanagar Gas, which has raised some prices, so that is something to watch out for. And let's just see if there are some other stocks that I may miss. Of course, I would have missed some of them, but let me just quickly scan through some of the stuff that I get. Right, we spoke about City Union Bank, of course. We spoke about Titan and DVS. LG Equipments, I thought, was better than expected EBITDA margin. So not I thought, I read that is, and therefore watch out for that one. Minda Corp, highest ever quarterly revenue. That could be interesting. Safari was decent set of numbers, so maybe that could be okay. ISMT was a very good set of numbers. Amrutanjan didn't seem all that bad, so watch out for that. Tattva Chintan was very bad set of numbers, so that might be bad. Chem Plus, Sanmar, aside of Godrej Agrovet would be the one. And Rosari Biotech, at some point of time, they need to deliver on the numbers. So I think SpecChem will have a tough day today. RT surfactants or chemicals, RT surfactants, Zuari Agro, Neogen margin, no growth QOQ, Rosari Biotech, no earnings growth. Tattva Chintan Pharma, taught down miss with very bad margins. So I think all of these could be in focus the next few trading sessions. So viewers, that's the long and short of the trade setup today. India might do slightly better, despite the fact that the US markets, a few futures, are looking a tad bit lower. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Have a great day. And today, a bunch of very interesting conversations lined up. At 9:15, Ridham Desai joins in to talk about why is this India's decade, and then a bunch of other conversations on results. So Ashok Sonthalia, CFO of Titan, Arvind Subramaniam, MD and CEO of Mahindra Lifespace, and Swagata Gupta, MD and CEO of Marico, join in to talk about their respective companies. And of course, Tuhin Kanta Pandey, Secretary of DIPAM, would be on BQ Prime at 2:30 today. So that is something that you don't want to miss as well.